The first time I saw it cut, I wanted to quit. Just not only the movie, but like go find a different profession. Like it was mortifying to see this disaster that I had somehow wrought on screen. And then the entire editing process was just working with my editor bit by bit by bit. It just got better and better and closer to what I wanted. So by the time we were done with the edit, it was already a victory for me. It was like, we got this movie made. It's not the utter disaster that I thought when I first saw it cut it was gonna be. It didn't stop me from being really scared at the Sundance premiere, but at least I sort of had something to fall back on, which was just my own personal conviction that I did what I wanted to do, whether or not people like it. I played jazz drums in high school, and it had like the Princeton High School had a weirdly very high-level, sophisticated, competitive jazz program with a very notoriously kind of terrifying teacher who had kind of founded the whole program, and he was sort of the life force of the program.
What's your name?
And your name, sir?
What year are you?
I'm first year.
I studied with him for my 4 years of high school, and it was a very formative time. It was very both inspiring and terrifying.
You know who I am?
Yes, sir.
Then why did you stop playing? Did I ask you to start playing again?
Sorry,
I asked why
misunderstood.
you stopped playing, and your version of an answer was to turn into a wind-up monkey.
I studied film at Harvard, actually, and it's very documentary heavy. I started filming musicians. I started, in a weird way, getting on the other side of what I'd been experiencing in high school and just filming drummers and filming jazz musicians, young jazz musicians in music school. First big kind of like, whoa, that's a director for me was Hitchcock. The first genre that I really sort of got into was the thriller. And then in college, I got really into musicals. I got really into Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly and Vincent Minnelli and Stanley Donen and Whiplash in a way is weirdly sort of me kind of combining my, Hitchcock sort of obsession and love of thrillers with a musical.
Ready? Okay. 5, 6, and... Dragging just a hair.
First, I wrote Whiplash, and then I stuck it in a drawer for a while because I liked it. It was sort of what I wanted it to be, but it was so, I think because I wasn't used to writing something that personal, it had almost taken me by surprise just how autobiographical parts of the script were and how sort of raw, I guess some of it was, that I almost it almost felt like airing skeletons in the closet that you didn't want to air, which maybe in hindsight is a sign that it was something worth doing. But at the time, I think I got a little bit of cold feet, and I put it in a drawer for a little bit and just, and I took my time tinkering with it. But I think it was also because I was trying to delay when I would actually have to show it to my agent or Hollywood. Finally, I sort of got over that hump, gave it to my agent, then that got sent off to the producers.
Would you want to go out with me? Ever?
Please go away.
Oh my
Please
God.
get out.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm just messing with you. I'm
What?
messing with you.
Pretty quickly, they had the idea of basically a proof of concept, which would essentially be a short film that we would make by pulling a scene from the script, me directing it, shooting it cheaply in a couple days, trying to do it well enough so that it could serve as sort of a representation of what the full movie would feel like and look like and sound like. In the movie, there's the first big studio band rehearsal scene. It's when our main character first enters the elite band in the school and gets put through the ringer. It's about a 15-minute chunk of the movie. And so we did it. We shot it quickly, we edited it, we took the short to Sundance.
Why do you suppose I just hurled a chair at your head, Neiman?
I was terrified at the beginning of Sundance, and again, it felt like I was back in my band rehearsals. It felt like it was back up there on the drum set, waiting for the chastising to happen. The screening wound up going well, and then I could actually just enjoy the rest of the festival. It was the first moment that we actually had to kind of bask in it just a little bit.
Double time swing. No, double time. Double it. Faster. Faster.
I guess from the beginning, I sort of had a sense of where Andrew, the main character, the drummer in the movie, would sort of go. You know, it's this weak sort of kind of kid at the beginning who by the end is this sort of confident, powerful man in a way, and we should applaud that. It's a real coming of age and a coming into oneself that we should applaud, except that the self that he's come into is this sort of monster, and also just sort of a mirror image of Fletcher. So the idea that he kind of becomes Fletcher, that they become one and the same, all that stuff I think just kind of sprained from initially trying to figure out where Andrew was gonna land.
Was I rushing or was I dragging? Count again.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Rushing or dragging?
Rushing.
So you do know the difference.
Right from the get-go, the movie had to sort of hinge on this question that I had looking back on my time as a drummer. I became a better drummer as a result of the climate of, you know, the atmosphere in my music training. But, you know, I was kind of a nervous wreck during those 4 years, and sort of irrationally so. You know, I was skipping meals. I was unable to eat before rehearsals. I was so nervous. I was sweating bullets during rehearsals. You know, my hands would shake. I mean, it was just a whole sort of host of things that, looking back, I couldn't explain rationally because it's not like we were going to war. It's not like there was ever a life or death sort of thing, but it felt that way. In the name of what? In the name of playing music, you know, something that should be so harmless and even enjoyable. So on the one hand, why did I feel that way? On the other hand, did feeling that way help?
Oopsie daisy. Forgot my jacket.
So that was the very personal side of it, but that to me was the question at the base of this movie, was to make a movie about that fear, make a thriller about music that would kind of hopefully feel as high stakes as a war movie, even though the stakes are never life and death, but really ask, is it worth it? Is it effective? Can we even reconcile this kind of stuff with what we think of as art, which should be about compassion and freedom and all these sorts of more noble things? Do the ends justify the means? That was the question.
Listen, we lost 18 games in a row. And every game before the game, I had to make our team believe that we were going to win that game.